No, we haven't had a leaky roof, folks. This genuinely is something that I have deliberately done, made it wet. Hello everybody and welcome to the March 2024 update from Clydebridge Station. And first of all, thank you very much to those of you who liked my video at Model Rail Scotland, and to the handful of people who I had the chance to speak to and who said hello to me as well. Those who say that the model railway hobby is dying, I'm afraid to say they are absolutely wrong. It's anything but. Now, this month's update concerns one thing, and it's something that I've called my version of Operation Pride. As we all know, I laid down the wrong ballast in the first place here, and it's double gauge ballast, double gauge size ballast. When if you're building a double gauge layout, you need N gauge ballast. And that is what we have here in the depot area. And that's what the topic is for this month. It's actually taking up the ballast and track in platforms 4, 5 and 6 and laying down the new ballast. It will probably mean some more of this scenic material here will have to come up. These will definitely be going, and I'll probably have to end up doing this section here as well because of the junctions. The project will stop just at the tunnel mouth, and I'm going to use a Hatton's oil spill kit in the tunnel area, or track ground, and heavily disguise the double gauge ballast in here. I can't change it now, but everything else I can change, and I will change. So it's going to be a project that in essence will take a couple of months at least to do, just getting the track up and getting it down and sorted. What that does unfortunately mean is that there won't be trains running on the layout for a little while. It'll be worth it in the end, I'm sure. And we'll also be in the future getting this sorted once again, so we can take this up and put once again new stuff down and glue it down properly so that we don't have things like this. And I'm going to be reordering lamps if need be as well, in case any get damaged. So that's what is going to be happening this month again in the station area. In the immediate station area as well, we've got these plastic gantries, 3D printed gantries. They're going to come up too. The signal bits are going to be kept, but I'm going to modify them slightly with thin grey board to cover the backs of them. And then what we'll have then is space to put in brand new gantries, and these will actually be overhead line gantries coming from scale model scenery. So that's what the main focus is over the next at least 2 months, probably longer. So if you're all ready, all aboard, and I hope you enjoy the programme. Any comments, queries, suggestions, leave them in the comments box below. Now, I've been reassured by somebody that you don't need to leave this to soak for too long before it starts coming up. It's very unlikely I'll be able to salvage the track, but you never know, because the track was pinned down. But when we come to do the replacement track and put it down, unlike in the depot area here where I've pinned it down, on the reversing side I've actually used copy decks, and indeed the copy decks is actually what's going to be used for the rest of the station area. It just means that I won't be hammering and moving things about as a result. The first thing that's got to be done, of course, is get the track up, the old track up, and then get the ballast up, and then I'll get the vacuum cleaner down and get this all hoovered up. In the essence of fairness, I suppose I've got to stress it, as well as Hoover, other brands of vacuum cleaner are available. And that's got to be done for 3 platform roads. You'll also notice that there's all this litter here that's from scale model scenery. That'll be coming up as well, so I'll have to get a new sheet of that. I did have a sheet, and do you think I could find it? No, of course not. Watch this, I'll buy the new sheet from SMS, and the following week, once I've started using it, I'll find the old one. You just know that's going to happen. So this is a job I've not been looking forward to, but by golly, I need to get underway with it. So without further ado, I'm going to turn the camera off and start taking up the track in platform number 6. Well, so far on platform 6, this is what it looks like. Now bear in mind I'm going to be doing this on platforms 4 and 5 as well, so I won't bore you to death with it and everything, but I have noticed a couple of little things have cropped up. A wee bit of damage to the brickwork there, and if I turn the camera around, you can see some damage there too. There you go. Easy fix, because what I'll do is I've got some spare brick sheen. It'll be of a slightly different shade, but I'll be able to put it onto there and there, and you won't notice. And where else it gets damaged, I can just do the same thing. I might even try and put some graffiti on as well, just to try and sort things out. So like I say, it's not a big issue. We're not going to lose anything over that, so it's not a problem at all. If I did have to replace this walling in the end, then so be it. But I'm working on the assumption I won't. Now at the start of the video I forgot to mention David Watson's layout at Dean Park Station and Richard Warren's layout at Everard Junction, both of whom are influences on my layout, and so I'll just give them their shout outs now. And in fact both have had to do some rebuilding work on their track in the past, although both, I'm pleased to say, used the correct end gauge ballast. Now in the case of David, he had to actually do a couple of rebuilding of a small section of track between the town scene and a tunnel mouth. Richard Warren, he actually had to go to the extreme. He rebuilt his layout entirely, so he did salvage as much track as he could. I don't know how much of this track I'll be able to salvage, but I'm certainly hoping to be able to salvage the points, but if not, so be it. But like I say, the stuff's been pinned down, but when I come to redo the track and lay it down again, it'll be getting put down with copy takes. I need to get a hoover, so that'll take me a little while to hoover all this. Clear as that's been for a long time, hasn't it? This is one wee problem here. There's a pin that I've missed, so I'll pull that out, and there's a wee problem that's cropped up there. Not much I can really do about that, but what I'll have to do is put an extra layer of cork on that to try and reduce the hump a little bit, and then it'll ease off just down here. So that's a thing I'm going to do. Now I've not been able to salvage any of the track so far, but a little tip it'll give you when you're taking your track up, what to do is make sure that you actually keep the curved and the point track especially. Take the old stuff along to your local model shop, and then that way they know exactly what track you're looking for. That's what I've done here. Now these straight tracks that you see along here, they're quite easy to get. It's flexi track, but it's not so necessarily straightforward elsewhere on the layout. So as I say, I've kept the curved track, and I'll be doing the same for the point work here as well, and the curves here. I'll be getting them all kept, so I'll know what ones to get when I need new ones. It just saves you a lot of hassle doing it that way. Now I'm going to get on, but a couple of tunes, or singers rather, for you to listen to, both from London, and you'll get them both here on YouTube and also on Instagram. Honest Jones, that's spelt H-O-N-E-S-S, Honest Jones, and also Must Be John, who's a rapper. So if you check out those two, both here on YouTube and on Instagram. I've put the soapy water in again with a little drop of washing up liquid into warm water, and that's soaking in there now. A little thing I'll say to you as well is, don't use actually cold water, just have it at room temperature when you're doing this. So maybe make some water up and leave it in a bottle, and I'll show you the type of bottle I'm using. I'm using one of these. That, leave it at room temperature, even have a couple of bottles, and then you'll be absolutely fine. Well, that's the main bits in the platforms of 4, 5 and 6 cleared. Now you'll notice there's still a lot of debris on the platforms itself. You'll also notice some of the platforms now been damaged. I've took things off, but that's not an issue because I was obviously going to be redoing those platforms anyway, and I'll do repairs to that. What I'll do is, this is how far I've got up to. If I'm able to if I have to end up taking all the track up, so be it. Scoony Hobbs will get visits from me for a good few weeks anyway, as I get all that done. My plan is, first of all, to get the cork down now into these platforms here. And what that will then mean is I could sweep the rubbish off the platforms onto the cork bed and then hoover it up again. By getting the cork down, I can actually move these trains into other platforms now, so I can get these platforms done, because I think that's how it's going to end up going. I'll have to take all the platforms up to get it sorted out. But my main aim is still to actually get roads 4, 5 and 6 done first of all, get track down and laid. At the time that I filmed this section of the video, which is on the 17th of February, ITV3 has been showing the 1971 comedy film On the Buses, based upon the TV series. And it's an apt moment for me to give a shout out to something to do with that film, the On the Buses database, which you'll find here on YouTube. So go and check that out, On the Buses database. But do after we're done with this March update. My next plan now is to go and remove this pin here and try and get more of this track up, and then probably start laying the cork down. You can understand now why I said that this would be done over more than one video. Well, change is happening, and many will say for the better. I'll obviously have to get the vacuum cleaner in and hoover all this muck up at some point. I've got the first bits of cork down in platform number 6 at long last. And notice here I've put an extra bit of cork on here. What was happening previously was, I'll give this track in, was that the trains would come into the station into would be shunted into platform 6. Now, when the motor rail train, the train was arriving in from London Euston, the overnight service, it had a tendency, when I shunted the motor rail van in here, to roll forward. That little bit of cork there is designed to prevent that from happening, and you can see there's very little movement now. And then that happens. There you go, so you can see there it's actually still moving. So that means I've got to try and dish this up somewhere else. Now, it's really just a case of trying to raise the track a little bit. And if I just... that's probably about the height I need. I need to put some more cork down somehow, and just see if I can... I can't go too high with it though, because otherwise it'll just be completely unrealistic. And you can see that's an old Markv Coach. You can see how far that's travelled. It might not be a problem off camera, but certainly on camera it is. And the track obviously is not glued down yet either. It would be much closer in actually. Possibly more like that there. So yeah, still a lot of work to do, and obviously the track, see, it'll be coming in like that, and this is all getting replaced anyway, again. Now, putting it up there, you can see the roll back as well, but it's really here that's the concerning part. So I think that I'm going to need to get some more cork, and I'll not stick it down but place it in here just to see what happens. But that's obviously for another time. But as you can see, we've got the first bit of cork down in there, and I'll be putting some more in here soon, and get the hoover into all of that too. Now we go up here, track removal has got as far as here. I'm not too concerned about this bit here because this is going to get replaced by a retaining wall, but it'll be to a different design to this, make it a bit different. Couple of things to note though. The first one is that I've also took away these little junction boxes. I can't remember where I got them from. When I was at Model Rail Scotland, I actually got some from the West Hill Wagon Works stall, but one of the old Hornby ones, it's quite a thin one, is going to sit there eventually. I know it's falling over at the moment, but once I've got all that glue off and got it into position and glued down again, it will sit just in there. That would be ideal. I've took up this bit of track here now because I'll be putting new cork down. I'll unpin this track and take it up as well, and that'll let me get into this bit here. And as I say, new cork will go down at this bit too. But this track is salvageable, as is the other piece. Now that other piece is here. You can see it'll go to there. So at least that's one good thing that's come out of this. And obviously, as I've already mentioned, I'll only get so far into the tunnel before I have to come up with, before I'll have to stop. So I'm thinking this will get covered completely with the Hatton's oil spill kit eventually here, because we're in a tunnel. There's no other way around it. Junction here, I've managed to salvage the points at the moment, but I'll have a chat with Jim at Scooney Hobbies on Tuesday to see what he thinks, if they're okay or not to use, and then we'll be laying down more cork. I've got pins to take up too, as you'll see. Also, the cable trunking is getting taken up where it needs to be taken up, and I'll get new cable trunking down eventually as well. You never know though, we might actually have something running by the end of this video on the main line. You never know. Now that's all the cork from the up road right round here into platforms 4, 5 and 6 now laid. It's not quite right here, so it's getting weighed down with that. And as already mentioned, this track is not glued down. Neither this bit of track. That'll get done when I come to do this section here tomorrow. I've got a little bit I'm going to put in there, and then we should be starting on getting the lines laid into 4, 5 and 6. That'll then allow me to start taking this lot up, and these will come out. This is going to stay, and all this will get hoovered again afterwards, because there's also a lot of junk on there. And once I've got the track laid in here by the weekend, it'll allow me to move these trains temporarily over to here, and we should be starting to be ready for being a station again. It's going to look awfully rough. Over here, this problem here, my idea for that is there'll also be a signal about here. I may actually put the signal here instead though, and this will actually be heavily overgrown, so it'll disguise that. And in the tunnel area, I'll probably end up using the Hatton's oil spill kit. I'll need to obviously get the hoover back in there and get all that track up that you can see there. Oh. All the pins have been taken out from here as well now, and the new track will be Copytex down. This line of cork up to here was glued down with Copytex, but the rest I've just used normal PVA glue, and as you can see, it goes all the way around. When I was at Model Rail Scotland, I was having a little chat with Ryan from the Cooper Model Railway Club, so check them out please on Facebook, along with the Scottish Railway Modellers Facebook page. they'll be happy to have you join. And also check out Ryan's layout on Twitter and on Facebook, Eden Road TMD. It may actually be called Eden Road in Wensted, but check him out. And just before I go into the next bit, I say I'm not too worried here because we're going to get a new retaining wall put in there to a different design, and it'll be a hell of a lot better. It'll actually be to a different design to this. Now, I filmed this on the Monday. The next day I'm nipping down to Scooney Hobbies to get some track, and hopefully we'll be starting to lay it by the time of tomorrow afternoon. But you won't have to wait that long, you'll just have to wait a few seconds. Well, progress hasn't been as rapid as what I was hoping for, but I'll explain a bit more about that in a couple of minutes. But here we've got a Markv coach. They're longer than the Mark III Oxford rail coaches that are on the push-pull train. So if this can fit around, anything can. And you can see it does just fit. What I would have to do though is that the signal will have to be put here. But you can see there it's fitting no problem. Now I'm going to transfer it to the other track. That's fine there. That's not fine, but don't worry about that. I'll just put that back there, and you can see obviously the transformation that's starting to take place. This point and this point will just need a quick clean, but they're actually salvaged and are getting reused. When I come to do this next bit, I'll need to actually take that point out slightly when I come to do this next bit. What will happen here is there'll be a piece of track like this, and then we'll have we'll have a very long flexi track going around there, so we'll at least get platform 4 back into use. Now the problem I've actually hit here is, and this is a lesson I'm going to learn for the rest of it, is that I took all this up and I can't damn well remember how it all went together. So the solution I've come up with is I'm going to get a curved point to put in here. That will then give me the necessary clearance for trains coming out of platform 6 and having a train in platform 5 at the same time with the loco attached at the front end. That's what my plan is. The lesson that I've learned is that when I come to do this section, take up a couple of bits of track at a time and then go to Scooney Hobbies to get the new track and put it down. So doing it one little bit at a time rather than try to do a whole job lot, because you can see I've managed to forget what I needed to get, if there is such a thing. You'll also notice here that there's a couple of sleepers missing, and they'll just go in and under there, and I'll get that done at the earliest opportunity, get them back in there. It's just a simple prise up and put into position. This point, by the way, has not been copied X down, but it is a new point anyway. The plan therefore is hopefully get the curved point and get more flexi track, and I'll try and work out here what track I'm going to need. But I think if it's a curved point, it might be... What the hell with this? Oh dear. A curved point could come out short, straight, and maybe into something like that, which would then obviously mean possibly alterations here. I won't know that until I get the track in position, but I had hoped, if my memory had been correct and served me well, that I would have been able to get this all sorted by now. The only alternative I've got is to get a bit of flexi track and get it put into position. Though my curve, I've already had a go with that twice and I've not managed to get it right yet. And the other thing about using all this flexi track is I'm needing it for the platforms, so it's quite a double-edged sword. I did tell you this was going to take up the whole video, didn't I? All this stuff in here will of course be going back on once the track is in position, and that, and the sleepers and that'll go back into position as well. They're actually going to go safely underneath here now. So that's what my plan is. Talking of plans, Emperor's Path, he's moving to a new house in the Hampshire area, so go and check his layout out because he'll be planning a new one. Check him out please, Emperor's Path, you'll find him here on YouTube. Well, last platform 6 is laid, and I've done this off camera, so I'm hoping it's going to work on camera. We've got 47706 here. Appropriately I'm using her because the mess it's in the layout at the moment. Now I'm just going to stop it there, and you'll see it's quite a tight clearance, but I've measured up where a locomotive would probably sit with some coaching stock. Then to the buffers are a little bit longer, but I've measured it out and I believe that this is actually going to be correct and should allow a locomotive to pass with another train in platform 6. We'll crack on though. I had some problems earlier where I got no power, but I sent the track cleaning coach round. I just propelled it myself, and I'm going to stop it here. The next problem that came up was, I don't know how well the camera will pick that up, is that this is a join in the baseboards, and you could see, you could see there how it didn't work out quite correct at first. So it does scrape a little bit. Now, what I've noticed is, just at this bit here where the fish plates are, it can go down a bit. So I've put the sleepers in now, and the locomotives are working on it okay. What I'm thinking of doing is putting another piece in here, of cork in here, to raise that up a bit, and then let it gradually go down. Locomotives will not normally be going up to the end of platform 6, but you can actually just see there. So that gets that done there. Now I'm going to run it back the way. And this is a point where, well, I can live with that now. See, I've had to give the track a good clean. I'm going to just stop it there. I could give the track needs a really good clean. However, it is now a penny stock sitting in place, and I've uncoupled it and pushed it forward a little bit, and then put Haymarket on at the other end. I've just brought her forward a little bit from the stock to about there. And if we just check that out, there's just enough room. And what I'm going to do is bring in 706. I'm going to just try this locomotive. Now the issues that I've been having at the hump there, and she's run perfectly by the way, the issues that I've been having at the hump here may also be the same issues that I've been having here at a set of points that's causing the push-pull train to derail. So hopefully that will all be sorted when this next bit of track comes up. Take that up there now because that's also going to be going there, but there's a lot of scrap track here now which is going to be binned. That's actually a good set of points which will go there, but there's plenty of scrap track that's got to go. But my next purchase from Scooney Hobbies will be some more track magic to clean the track, and one of those and another piece of flexi track so it can get platform 4 completed. What I've got to do now is get this train back off of platform 5, switch the power off, get the track up temporarily, and then glue it back down. But before that, I wanted to just try with Locomotive 715. I don't know if this is actually going to work, or if I've got to clean the track. Right, that's probably going to need a thorough cleaning of the track with Track Magic, so that will get done. And that'll likely be the case for in here too. I've got the track cleaning wagon that'll have to be used to do that. And there are a couple other things that you've noticed, that there's a little gap there that I really didn't want, but not much I can do about that. But when it comes to the rest of this, as I've said before, I'm taking up one section of track at a time and getting it and then I'll work. So I work in a way that I'll have this point will come up and these two bits will come up and this point will come up, and I'll replace it with starting with this point and this bit here, so that I'm always leaving a gap behind. I know it sounds quite strange, but that's the way I'm going to be doing it. And I'll provide you a little bit more detail on what's going to happen next month at the end of the programme. Time to get some copy decks down. There we have it, way down now. And the copy deck's down, and it's way down. And by the way, just before I put the weights down, I did run the Markv Coach. I've just chucked it onto the track. It's not on here, but I did place it properly onto the tracks going into platform 5. And it did perform very well, so I've got no issues there at all with the Locomotive, with the rolling stock going into platform 5. The gap for the track is absolutely fine, so I'll live with that because it's absolutely fine. What will now happen is that'll take a few days to dry, and then we'll have a look at it again. And then we'll be getting a couple of more pieces of track that will finish, that will do platform 4, and we should then be finished this month's video. And once this is all dried, the copy decks, I will get the track cleaning machine in and get the track all cleaned once again. Then test the Locomotive and then do it again. If everything's working fine, there's no guarantee on that, but if everything works fine, I'll then be able to go and get the dropper wires put back into their rightful places for here and for this siding as well. So that's actually another job that I'll have to do. Well, I've got the buffer installed on platform 5 now. Obviously we have the problem here at the concourse, but that is something that will be addressed through time. Not 100% sure how I'll sort that yet, but I suspect that when I relay this platform, that'll then sort this bit out here, but that's obviously for another time. I've still not been able to run rolling stock into here because as you can see, the track is needing cleaned again, and I've also got the track laid down again on platform 6. What I've done is I've uprooted the track and relayed it. This time the join in the tracks is further along here. I've pushed this 47 along and it seems to be okay, but I won't know for certain until it's all dry. And then I've got to get a piece of track into here to allow platform 4 to get laid. Now the only thing about all of this is that it's taken a hell of a time to get up to this point, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to end the video here for the March update. In the April update we'll get platform 4 laid, we'll get everything tested, and I'm going to make a start here on getting the retaining wall done again properly. That'll involve this style of brickwork, but rather than it being to this design, it's going to be to a different design. I've got it in my head how I want to do it, so we'll see if we can actually get that done. And then, as I say, we'll get platform 4 laid, and we'll make a start on taking up the track here in platforms 1, 2 and 3, and we'll get these tracks resoldered. Now the other problem, as you just seen here, is that fence is getting a bit knackered, but not to worry, eventually there'll be a new one from Scale Model Senior getting put in its place there. So there's quite a lot that's been done this month, but there's going to be quite a lot still to do. And as you could well imagine, now it's coming at the nicer weather, I've got the garden to look after as well as the layout. So there'll be small progress every month. But that's the plan for next month's update, is to get this laid, get it tested, and get starting on this retaining wall here. So this will be coming up, and there'll be new stuff getting put on, and the trusted Markv Coach will be used once again to test everything out. Two little things left to just mention to you. You'll notice that what I've done here, I can zoom in there. That's actually off one of the buffer stops, because the Gauge Master buffer stops that will be getting put on as replacements, I'll be buying them with the lights already as part of the kit. So I'm going to try and solder 2 wires at the end of the track, there and there, to make that light up and put some sort of buffer underneath there. I don't know if I'll be able to do the buffer bit underneath there, but that's simply for the motor rail train and sleeper train and parcels trains that will use platform number 6. So that's what I'm planning to do there. The other thing that's obviously, as I say, it's got to be done is to get this wall sorted out here, but I've got an idea for that as well. That'll have to run concurrent with putting new wall down onto here. But as I say, these platforms are going to get relayed through time, and that'll be a job that'll start much later in the year. And I've also got to get more copy decks, of course, so we can get the work done as well on the track. So I'm very sorry that you haven't seen anything in terms of train movements this month, but rest assured next month hopefully we'll have a couple of shots of trains running. The track should hopefully be given a thorough clean, and we'll be making a start, as I say, on a new design of retaining wall here, as well as starting on getting this track taken up ready for its replacement. The final shout out I've got for this month's update is a Lancashire based country music guitarist called Ben Froggatt. He just started following me on Facebook as I filmed this today, so go and check him out, Ben Froggatt. I'm sure he'll be very happy for your support. So that completes this month's update. All that remains for me to do now is to say thank you very much indeed for watching. Please do take care of yourselves, won't you, and enjoy your layouts, and we'll see you soon. Bye bye for now.